Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into, well, the absolutely critical world of cybersecurity and data protection. Our mission, really, is to cut through all the noise, find those essential insights, and give you the core knowledge you need to, navigate our digital lives safely. For this deep dive, we've pulled some really valuable perspectives from a recent Twitter space featuring a highly experienced cybersecurity professional.
Yeah, and it really couldn't be more timely. I mean, with new tech like AI and machine learning popping up so fast, the challenge of protecting data and mitigating threats, it's never been greater. It affects us all personally, in business, even nationally. It's a landscape that's constantly shifting, so understanding the basics, the principles, that's our strongest defense.
That's a great way to put it. You mentioned these different levels, personal, business, national. How are they sort of interconnected, and where should we start?
Well, they're definitely linked, but each has its own unique challenges. Let's maybe start right at home with the personal side. That impacts every single one of us. Think about it, everything you post online, your name, address, bank details, even just casual photos, it all gets aggregated. It's like putting together pieces of a jigsaw puzzle that eventually forms a whole biography of you.
A jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, I can see that.
And what's really concerning now is how sophisticated identity theft has become. AI, machine learning, they can create these startlingly accurate replicas, not just data, but like your facial expressions, how you talk, even your voice.
Your voice, that's genuinely disturbing. How common is that becoming, and what does that really mean for how we should think about our own digital footprint? It's definitely on the rise, and that's why having an active thinking approach to cybersecurity is so important. It's a mindset, not just a checklist. I heard this story about a professional who deliberately used the same really old profile picture everywhere online. It wasn't about being paranoid exactly. It was more a conscious choice to limit the new data circulating about them. Makes it harder for AI to build a fresh profile.
Okay, so it's about conscious limitation.
Exactly. And while the threat landscape is always ever evolving with tech, some basics, they remain constant. And arguably, they're more critical now.
Like what are those fundamentals we all need to be doing, or maybe reevaluating?
Right. So regularly changing passwords, that's huge. Having data backups, frequently updating your software, these are non-negotiable foundations. But here's a really critical one people often miss. Never use cracked software.
Cracked software. Why is that so bad?
We heard this striking story, actually. Someone suffered from spyware for 2 years straight, just because they kept reinstalling this cracked software. Even after formatting their device multiple times, it was this awful cycle.
Wow, 2 years.
Yeah. It's a stark reminder that malicious websites can get you just by visiting.
Hmm.
There was this example from a Lost Cyber meetup back in 2021, a specific news something website, just landing on the page, automatically wrote to your clipboard.
Just visiting wrote to the clipboard.
Yeah.
That's subtle and
Wow.
dangerous.
Very. So beyond avoiding those obvious pitfalls, what's the best actionable advice? Especially with AI making fakes harder to spot.
Yeah, what can people do?
It really boils down to vigilance.
Yeah.
Implement two-factor authentication, 2FA, on everything you possibly can. It adds such a crucial layer. Use complex, unique passwords for every single account. Don't reuse them. Constantly verify information. And maybe the most important thing now, adopt a zero-trust mindset.
Zero trust. What do you mean by that exactly?
Basically, don't automatically trust anything you see online or receive digitally. Especially now, with AI crafting content text, voices that's pretty much indistinguishable from human-created stuff, you just have to question everything.
Question everything. That's a powerful takeaway for individuals. Okay, let's shift gears. What about businesses? The stakes seem so much higher there with the sheer volume of data.
Oh, absolutely. The stakes are incredibly high with corporate data. Threat actors value it immensely because it contains, well, everything. Personal data of customers and employees, financial records, intellectual property, maybe even classified secrets. So protecting it starts with really strict access control, applying the principle of least privilege. Least privilege, meaning?
Just giving employees the exact access they need to do their job. Nothing more. We use data classification, figuring out who needs to edit, who can modify, who just needs to see data to make those access decisions. And that ties directly into the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Keeping data private, accurate, and accessible when needed.
Okay, CIA triad, got it. I've seen this firsthand. In my own organization, we once had a data leak we couldn't attribute. No proper tracking. We actually had to start registering anyone with data access via their email just so we could investigate and attribute leaks later if needed. That accountability is vital.
That makes sense, needing that audit trail. What other layers are essential for businesses?
Network segmentation is another big one. You isolate sensitive data, like client PII, personally identifiable information, onto specific restricted network segments. Keep it separate. Then there's data encryption, both for data at rest on servers and in transit across networks, using secure algorithms like AES 128, that's pretty standard for the internet, basically scrambles the data. So even if someone steals it, it's unreadable, just gibberish.
So encryption makes stolen data useless.
Ideally, yes. And of course, data backup, whether it's hot, warm, or cold storage. Having those restore points is critical, especially for things like ransomware attacks. You need to be able to get your business back online. And naturally, you need the core security tools, firewalls, endpoint security for devices, strong anti-phishing measures.
It's a complex web of defenses. But AI, you mentioned it for personal threats. How is AI hitting businesses? Is it similar, or are there new angles?
That's a great question. And the impact is, well, it's quite chilling sometimes. There was this one case, an organization lost $40 million. $40 million.
How?
An AI tool impersonated someone convincingly in a conference call with the board. They just didn't detect it was fake.
Wow, an AI impersonation costs $40 million.
Yeah, and AI has also totally changed the game for business email compromise, BEC. It allows for these spotless, error-free whaling attacks. So those are the highly targeted phishing attempts aimed right at top executives. The AI crafts emails that are so perfect, they slip right past traditional anti-phishing filters. They're incredibly dangerous.
So the usual red flags, bad grammar, weird phrasing, they might disappear with AI.
Exactly. Which brings us back to the human element. Despite all this tech, the weakest link is often still human error. That's why constant security awareness and education for staff is absolutely non-negotiable. People need to be kept up to date on these evolving threats. No tech solution works perfectly if users aren't informed.
Right, that continuous education piece seems key.
Yeah.
So how do organizations try to stay ahead, especially with these AI threats evolving so fast?
It comes down to continuous monitoring and threat intelligence. You need systems constantly looking for anomalies. We actually had an instance where our Google Cloud Security Control Center flagged a malicious IP address. It was from Germany, marked by a virus total, trying to connect to our Kubernetes engine that's for managing applications. We shut down that instance immediately and investigated. Without that constant watching, it could easily have been a serious breach.
That constant vigilance. Okay, so we've covered personal, business. What about the national level? The implications there feel even bigger, somehow more unique.
They definitely are. When you talk national cyber threats, you're often talking about attacks sponsored by nations, and these can have very, very adverse effects. Think about incidents where classified information gets shared by individuals on social media. Remember that Twitter user, Parent? That sparked huge controversy, gave unauthorized insight into government stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. Leaks like that.
Exactly. And then there's the theft of core national data itself. Things like your NIN, national identification number, or international passport details. We've actually seen sensitive information from entities like the Nigerian police force, even the Navy, show up for sale on the dark web. It shows the worrying scope.
Wow, selling national ID data. So it's not just stealing secrets, but basic citizen data too. And using it how?
Precisely. And this information can be weaponized. It fuels information warfare, which is a huge cyber threat to nation states now.
Yeah.
It usually breaks down into MDMs, disinformation, malinformation, and misinformation.
MDMs. Okay, break that down.
Sure. Disinformation is intentionally false, designed to deceive. Malinformation is true information, but used specifically to cause harm. And misinformation is false stuff spread unintentionally, maybe just by mistake. There was a powerful example from the 2015 Nigerian elections. A news outlet reported INA was hacked. That was disinformation.
Oh, what actually happened?
The actual event was INEC website was hacked. See the difference? Seems subtle, maybe.
Yeah, very subtle.
But that tiny phrasing change, it completely altered public perception and impact. And nation states, like the UK and Russia, they engage heavily in this through news outlets pushing propaganda-specific narratives.
So much manipulation potential. How can you, just as a regular citizen, protect yourself? How do you tell what's real in this kind of environment?
It really requires developing a critical eye. You have to learn how to spot false information, especially stuff that gets forwarded multiple times from family or friends. That's often a big red flag. And importantly, teach others not to just blindly spread things.
Okay, be skeptical of forwarded messages.
Yep.
What else?
Practical steps. Check the date of the info. Is it old news presented as current? Analyze the headline. Is it overly sensational? And crucially, cross-reference it. Check it against legitimate source news outlets. Does the story appear elsewhere from credible sources? And the future? It's getting harder. Channels, a news channel, recently had to issue a disclaimer. Why? Because an AI-generated version of their news presenter appeared online saying something totally different from what was actually aired.
An AI deepfake news presenter.
Yeah. Detecting these sophisticated fakes is a growing challenge. So for all of us, the takeaway really have to be question everything. Always look for possible backups to things, to information, to authentication. That's how we maintain an edge.
That question everything mantra feels more important than ever. Okay, before we wrap up, there's a question that always seems to come up, especially for curious learners. What advice would you give someone who actually wants to pursue a career in cybersecurity?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer is, well, it's pretty dynamic. It really depends if someone is starting out with, zero knowledge, or if they're maybe transitioning from another tech field.
Okay, let's take the beginner first. Zero knowledge.
For absolute beginners, my advice is always start with the basics. Just begin consuming cybersecurity resources. Read articles, threat reports, news, listen to podcasts like this one. Get a broad understanding of the field first. What's interesting is many people jump in wanting to hack things. But that's actually a pretty small part of the industry overall.
Right, it's not all like the movies.
Not at all. So I really encourage people to research the different parts of cybersecurity. Look into things like GRC governance, risk, and compliance. That's about managing risks, adhering to regulations. Find out what area actually tickles your fancy, what you find interesting.
So explore the breadth first. Don't just focus on hacking.
Exactly. And look for jobs where you can potentially grow into a cybersecurity role. Maybe start in IT support, then actively learn and implement security practices there. Or start pursuing relevant certifications while you're gaining experience. For folks transitioning from other tech fields, the advice is a bit different. Ask yourself, how can I implement security in what I'm currently doing? Bring that security mindset to your existing role.
Integrate it where you are. Makes sense. What about specific certifications or resources?
Yeah, there are some great ones. But crucially, you need to build capacity first. Build that foundational knowledge before just chasing certificates. But once you have that base, things like the Certified Cybersecurity, CompTIA Security plus Cisco's Netacad resources, even the Google Cybersecurity course on YouTube, those are all valuable and they can help formalize what you've learned.
Build capacity first, then certify.
Got it. Wow, this has been an absolutely insightful deep dive. Thank you so much for breaking down such a, complex topic into something so clear and actionable. You've really given us a clearer roadmap. My pleasure. It's important stuff. And maybe one final thought I'd leave you with. Cybersecurity isn't just about technology, right? It's really a collective effort. Continuous vigilance and ongoing education, honestly, they are our best defenses.
A collective effort. I like that. So, the question for you listening is, what personal steps will you take today to better protect your digital footprint? Or maybe, what area of cybersecurity are you now curious to explore further? Remember, in this landscape that's always changing, our biggest strength is probably just continuously learning and questioning. And hey, for those eager to dive even deeper, don't forget the Africa Cyberfest is coming up next week, Friday and Saturday. They've got a career workshop in the main conference. Great place for more knowledge and networking. And also, for info on hosting and business tools mentioned in that original Twitter space, you can check out balgo5before.com. Until next time, stay curious and stay secure.